We begin our drama with a chase between Park Tae-jung, on his bike, and a man in a yellow car. Tae-jung vows to take revenge on the other man, even if it kills him. We then shift to the past. Tae-jung is making deliveries across the city. A rich couple in a snazzy, red car drops one of his parcels on purpose, spilling the food. They think he's another delivery man who bumped shoulders with the woman. Tae-jung drives his bike in front of the car and forces them to pay up. Tae-jung then brings his little brother some food. They talk about the new cafe Tae-jung is planning on opening and about Tae-jin's upcoming exams. Back home, Tae-jin starts a live video of him studying, and Tae-jung sets up a beautiful garden on the rooftop of his cafe with his friends. His girlfriend Soo-ji stays the night. In the morning, Tae-jung heads out in his deliveries. He offers a helping hand to an old woman who needed her suitcase moved and even leaves a kind note by someone's houseplant, telling them how to care for it. While having a snack, he sees an abandoned phone ringing opposite the convenience store. A woman calls and asks Tae-jung to bring her phone to her, even offering to pay him. She gives him an address which leads him to a tunnel. The woman tells him to leave the phone inside a phone box in the tunnel, where he finds his payment. He then drives away. Back home, Tae-jung and Tae-jin pay their respects for their mother's death anniversary. However, that evening things change. Cops storm Tae-jung's cafe and arrest him for rape and murder. Turns out, a woman's dismembered body has been found in a tunnel near the Han River, and Tae-jung is their prime suspect. Tae-jung is kept in custody. Soo-ji hires a lawyer for him and visits Tae-jung in prison. Since the time of death of victim isn't fixed, the lawyer tells Soo-ji and Tae-jung's friends to get his whereabouts from over 2 days. They collect receipts and CCTV footage, and the lawyer seems optimistic. During the trial, the prosecution points out that Tae-jung made a delivery at the victim's house and stayed longer than he needed to. Tae-jung recalls moving the plant and leaving tips for the owner. The prosecutor then shows footage of Tae-jung dragging a suitcase up a hill. This was when he helped the old woman, but she's not visible in the footage. Turns out, this same suitcase was found near the victim's body and might have been used to transport it. The prosecutor then brings up the incident with the phone and tunnel, which also turns out to have been the victim's phone. Further, Tae-jung's DNA has been found inside the victim's body. In one of the evidence photos of the murder scene, Soo-ji notices Tae-jung's bracelet on the floor. Unfortunately, this is too much evidence against Tae-jung and he is dragged away. Later, Tae-jung's lawyer quits and even Soo-ji begins to doubt him. She removes her matching bracelet and leaves. In the end, Tae-jung is sentenced to jail. Soon, a public defender named Kim Sang-rak comes to see Tae-jung. He says he found the case against him suspicious and promises to help. In return, Tae-jung tells him that he's remembered that he dropped his bracelet in Tae-jin's room. Sang-rak agrees to go visit his brother. Tae-jung continues to face issues in prison. He gets dragged to the prison's boss, Yeo Deok-soo, and even gets assaulted by other inmates. Kim Sang-rak returns with bad news. Tae-jin has killed himself, leaving a note that said everything was too overwhelming. Tae-jung is absolutely broken after this and tries to commit suicide multiple times. Ultimately, another prisoner named No Young-sik, who is also the altar server in the prison's church, approaches him. He offers some comfort and tells Tae-jung to keep himself busy and find a way to survive. After this, Tae-jung starts to work out, study, and even garden. A montage shows that the bullying and beatings continue, but Tae-jung becomes stronger and even earns several different certificates because of the studying he's doing. He even starts reading the Bible. The scene shifts to 5 years later. We are introduced to Johan, a mysterious man who has a Professor X-like setup which gives him access to thousands of security cameras. On the phone, he tells the other person that he will take care of the situation. In prison, a kind guard strikes up a conversation with Tae-jung and even asks him to take care of one of his plants. No Young-sik comes over and gives Tae-jung his bracelet and some cake. He reveals that he's getting out that day. As he's leaving, both of them thank each other for the support they received. Tae-jung replaces Young-sik as the altar server. When a new inmate arrives and gets all beaten up, Tae-jung tries to offer him some cake and the Bible that Young-sik gave him. The boy's story comes tumbling out and it's eerily similar to Tae-jung's. He also found a phone, tried to return it, and ended up framed for a crime he didn't commit. He was also approached by a public defender and later informed that the lawyer found that his mother had killed herself. Tae-jung can't stop thinking about it. In the morning, the young man is found dead, having suffocated himself with the pages of a Bible. Tae-jung contacts the public defender Kim Sang-rak, pretending to have new information. He then confronts him about the other inmate and soon, the lawyer pretty much admits he killed Tae-jin and the other inmate's mother. When he leaves, Kim Sang-rak makes a phone call and tells someone they need a clean-up. Later, Tae-jung tells the prison's priest that he can't be his altar server anymore. We then see him pull a nail out from one of the church's pews. Later we see an auction. A sculpture by an artist named Arlili is currently being bid on. Johan, as an online bidder, bids on the piece. He competes with a man named Chairman Shin Myung-ho. During a break, Johan gets a call from the chairman. We learn that Chairman Shin is trying to get the sculpture for Johan, as payment for Johan keeping his son out of trouble. Johan is bidding just to see how far the man will go, as a twisted game of sorts. Chairman Shin ends up agreeing to pay 6 billion won for the sculpture. Johan receives the sculpture and adds it to his grand collection of sculptures, which includes many Arlelis. He then calls the chairman and tells him that the scapegoat who took the fall for his son had died in prison. This is the same man who killed himself with the pages of a Bible in the previous episode. During a big company meeting the next day, Johan gets a call from Kim Sang-rak, who tells him he requires a clean-up. In prison, Yeo Deok-soo's men try to beat Tae-jung again. This time, Tae-jung takes them all down and warns Deok-soo to leave him alone. In the city, No Young-sik is trying to run an electronics repair shop. His daughter, Eun-bai, enters the store and takes what little cash he has lying around. They are clearly not on good terms. The priest from the prison soon arrives and tells Young-sik that Tae-jung has returned the Bible. Deok-soo vents his frustration out on an inmate who was talking trash about him. Another prisoner named Do Gang-jae arrives and the two bullies greet each other. Deok-soo is then taken to meet the warden, who asks him to keep things quiet for a while. He says they are under scrutiny due to the recent suicide. Instead, the warden tells Deok-soo that he's assigning 2 white-collar criminals to his cell to make up for it. Deok-soo agrees but later tells one of his men, Jin-yong, to attack Tae-jung anyway. Young-sik visits Tae-jung and asks him if everything is okay. Tae-jung confesses that he's planning to escape the prison. We see that Tae-jung has carefully evaluated the facility and decided to escape during the guard's shift change, which occurs at 3:30 p.m. He has a half-hour window in which he can escape, but for that, he needs to be assigned a cleaning job in Zone B of the prison. That evening, Jin-yong gets assigned to Tae-jung's cell. He tries to kill him, but Tae-jung wins the fight quite easily. The next day, he sits down with Deok-soo and tells him to stop. Deok-soo refuses and starts attacking Tae-jung, eventually being tossed by a guard and sent to solitary, which seems to have been Tae-jung's goal all along. Later, the kind guard from earlier, Officer Yang, gives Tae-jung some green sponge that he asked for in order to decorate the church with flowers. Tae-jung hides a bit of that sponge inside a flower plot, which he keeps in the storage closet. He then attacks one of the inmates working in Zone B and secures the cleaning job for himself. When he gets the keys to the zone, he makes a mold of them in the green sponge, fills it with glue, and then hides it in his garden. Meanwhile, one of Johan's men arrives at the prison, disguised as a doctor giving vaccines to the inmates. While everyone else goes to the infirmary for the vaccines, Tae-jung stays behind at the mechanical workshop area to fix one of the guard's car engines. When the guard leaves for lunch, Tae-jung uses the workshop tools to carve out a set of keys from the molds he made. On his way back to his cell, Tae-jung finds himself ambushed by Do Gang-jae and his men. Gang-jae offers to team up and take Deok-soo down. Tae-jung refuses and Gang-jae gives him some time to think. In his cell, Tae-jung finds a guard waiting for him. He says that a big fight has been organized the next day and he wants Tae-jung to be in shape, since he's bet a lot of money on him. So he sends someone else to take the vaccine in his place. The next day, the officer takes Tae-jung for the match, where a large group of prisoners will fight in front of the warden. But Tae-jung is planning his escape and it's already 3 p.m. So, he hastily beats one person up and leaves, leaving Gang-jae irritated. But he finds one more obstacle in his path. Officer Yang had realized that he never got the vaccine and brings the doctor to Tae-jung's cell. The doctor injects him with a pink liquid which is different from what he gave everyone else. All while Tae-jung's time to escape keeps becoming shorter. As the doctor heads out, he sends a text message to someone saying that it will all be over in 30 minutes. After they are gone, Tae-jung uses the nail he took from the church to create a small short circuit. When the guards go to check it out, he uses his keys to steal a guard security guard and to take civilian clothes from the storage area. He wears these under his prison uniform. While hiding from a guard, Tae-jung suddenly feels a stab of pain. He then goes to a different room and climbs into the vents. Outside the prison, Officer Yang sees no Young-sik waiting. He assumes he wanted to see someone and Young-sik says he missed the window of visitation time. Inside, Taejung manages to reach the outside of the police station where civilians are waiting. He leaves the building but is suddenly overcome with dizziness and falls. Back in his wealthy house, Johan comes up with a new plan to entertain himself. He tells his nanny, who seems thrilled by his cruelty, to contact their clients who have a connection with the Ministry of Justice. The prison warden soon gets a visit from the police commissioner, who introduces him to Johan. Johan gives the warden a proposal as well as a bag of gold bars. He tells the warden to send him murderers, rapists, and thieves to play in his game. Meanwhile, Officer Yang looks through the CCTV footage and retraces Taejung's steps. We learn that Taejung didn't actually manage to escape. He wakes up in the infirmary, where the real doctor tells him he had warfarin, rat poison, in his system. Apparently, the vitamins that Young-sik bought him worked as an antidote and bought him some time. Officer Yang tells Taejung off, saying he treated him too well. The warden lets Kyung-soo out of solitary confinement and tells him not to make trouble. Of course, he doesn't listen and rounds up his men to attack Taejung in the infirmary. The fight begins and Officer Yang, who realizes what's happening, raises the alarm. While the guards are fighting with Kyung-soo's goons blocking the infirmary doors, Taejung takes down his other men. Then it's finally a showdown between Taejung and Kyung-soo. Despite being stabbed multiple times, Taejung manages to take Kyung-soo down and cuts his ear off. Taejung is sent to solitary where he has a vision of Taejin and apologizes to him. Soon, Taejung and other prisoners are forcibly taken from their cells and transported in trucks to a different location. When they wake up, Johan brings them out and tells them this is the land of opportunity. In a flashback to 5 years ago, a man named Baek Do-kyung murders Chu Na-young and then calls his father for help. Elsewhere, a number of men in suits attend an event celebrating an investment firm named GA Investment, which has won the bid to be in charge of national data security. 3 of these men badmouth the firm and the way it won the deal. Johan goes over there and makes it clear that the company's core was always data security. They are stunned to learn that he's the CEO. One of them points at Johan and later, Johan's assassin cuts the man's finger off. At home, Johan adds the finger to one of his sculptures. He then gets a call from Assemblyman Beck, who wants to get Do-kyung out of trouble. In return, Johan tells the assemblyman to buy him an art piece. Johan then gets to work. His team of cleaners go to the scene of the crime and set up cameras that allow Johan to see the place. They keep Na-young's body in warm water in the bathtub and in the meantime, Johan looks for a candidate to frame through the millions of CCTV footage he has access to. This is how he finds Taejung. Johan carefully follows Taejung's routine and even has his crew collect his DNA, including a used condom the morning after Taejung and his girlfriend spend the night together. He keeps a sick plant in the building where Taejung delivers food to ensure that he will spend more time inside and also makes a replica of his bracelet. Everything goes smoothly and Taejung is soon arrested. At present, the prisoners arrive at Johan's compound. There, they receive a lavish feast and individual rooms marked with numbers. Taejung stays in room 9, although he doesn't sleep. Instead, he sneaks out and tries to find an escape. Sadly, he gets caught by Johan himself. Johan tells him there will be a match the next day and a special reward for the winner. When he returns to his room, Ji-young, the man who tried to assassinate Taejung and has now developed some respect for him, takes Taejung to see Kyung-soo. Kyung-soo's men are about to attack him when Johan's guard force them to stop. In the morning, the prisoners are called outside. Johan tells the prisoners that they will be engaging in a car race. When one of the prisoners protests this treatment, Johan shoots him dead. Johan reveals that the prize money for the winner is 5 billion won. We then see Do-kyung and another man arrive at Johan's setup. Johan has arranged fall guys for both of them, having organized 3 different fall guys for 3 of Do-kyung's crimes. The men refer to the fall guys as avatars. Johan welcomes them and tells them that the car race is more of a dogfight since there aren't any rules. Johan plans to turn this into a form of entertainment, allowing gamblers to make bets on the dark web. He will then take this idea international and implement it in different countries. In another lavish meal for the prisoners, during which Ji-young approaches Taejung and asks him to form an alliance with him. He knows Taejung has an auto mechanic license. The other prisoners form alliances as well. Gang-jae takes Johan up on his offer for a private consultation. He butters Johan up and offers a long-term partnership. Johan agrees to think about it. Kyung-soo then meets Johan and tells him he wants to kill one of the inmates. Johan makes it clear Kyung-soo can do what he wants during the car race. Meanwhile, Tae-jung takes a look at Ji-young's car. When one of the prisoners steals another prisoner's car, Gang-jae realizes there are no rules to stop them from stealing the first car. They soon learn that Ji-young's car is a sports car and come for it. Tae-jung and Ji-young drive away, with Kyung-soo and Gang-jae both in pursuit. Johan sees that the prisoners are already chasing each other but tells his guards to let it be. After all, 3 cars crash. Johan tells his people to put a stop to the fighting. Ji-young's sports car unfortunately bursts into flames. In the morning, Tae-jung visits Johan. From Johan's office in a high tower, Tae-jung gets a good look at the surrounding area and spots a long strip of metal that could work as a ramp. Outside is a road leading away from the factory. Tae-jung asks Johan why he's doing this and Johan says it's for fun. That night, Tae-jung works on his car and adds protective armor to it. In the morning, he overhears one of the prisoners saying he swapped his engine for a turbo engine. Meanwhile, Johan gets in touch with Gang-jae and tells him he's taking him up on his offer. He's left a gift in his car to make the race more interesting. Soon, all the cars head out to the racetrack. Johan announces that the first person to complete 20 laps will win. The race kicks off and the man with the turbo engine is the first to lose as his car goes up in flames. Gang-jae and Kyung-soo end up cornering Tae-jung's car, but they are surprised to find Ji-young inside. Turns out, Tae-jung is in car 11 which has gone off track. Johan's drone searches for the car and finds it empty. Tae-jung then leaps out on a bike. At this point, Johan also remembers that Tae-jung is the man he framed. Gang-jae finally opens the present Johan left for him, which turns out to be a gun. On Johan's encouragement, Gang-jae goes after Tae-jung. But Tae-jung uses a chain to drag a small cylinder behind him which hits one of Gang-jae's tires and takes his car down. Johan announces a change in the rules. Whoever can catch the man on the bike will win. Everyone comes for Tae-jung, leaving him stabbed and hit by cars but alive. Johan brings out his own sniper and starts shooting at Tae-jung. Tae-jung manages to get on his bike and even uses the gas cylinder to destroy Johan's drone. He then drives his bike over the ramp that leads to the outer road to escape. Tae-jung drives over it and Johan shoots him. After Tae-jung's grand motorcycle escape from Johan's factory, he washes up on the shore, steals some clothes from a nearby house, and runs towards the city. However, he is injured and nearly passes out by the time he makes it to Young-sik's repair shop. Back in the factory, Johan tells the warden to tell his superiors that the other inmates died in a gas leak. When Tae-jung wakes up, Young-sik promises to help him with whatever he needs. He even gives him a phone. Tae-jung's first step is to find the lawyer, Kim Sang-rak, and beat him up. Sang-rak confesses that they pick a scapegoat and frame them for someone else's crime. They call this sculpting. By then, Johan's assassin arrives to help Sang-rak. However, he starts losing the fight against Tae-jung and decides to kill him and Sang-rak with an explosive. Sang-rak dies but Tae-jung manages to jump out the window. Johan isn't happy to hear this and turns up to kill the assassin himself. Tae-jung grabbed Sang-rak's file on his way out, which has information on Johan's new target. It is So Hyun-young, a woman who will be framed for someone else's crime just the way Tae-jung was. Meanwhile, we are introduced to Detective Hwan, who is surprised to learn that the charges of bribery against him were cleared away by Johan. In return, Johan asks him to track Tae-jung down. Detective Hwan visits the prison to have a look at Tae-jung's cell. Officer Yoon, who is himself indignant at not being allowed to investigate the incident, shows him around. As for Johan, he starts working on sculpting So Hyun-young. Tae-jung decided to keep an eye on her to find the people following her. With Young-sik's help, he creates spy cameras and installs them around Hyun-young's salon. One day, Young-sik's daughter Eun-bai arrives to take money from her father as she normally does. Tae-jung mistakes her for a thief and pins her down, but Young-sik soon clears it up. She takes Tae-jung aside and demands he pay rent, for which he uses the money that Young-sik just gave him. She also punches him to make things even. Through the cameras he set up, Tae-jung spots a suspicious car around Hyun-young. He also notices a biker following her around, which must be how they implicated Tae-jung's possession of the victim's phone as well. Tae-jung goes to Hyun-young's salon, but by then, she has left. Her daughter tells Tae-jung that she found someone's phone and has gone to return it. As he goes after her, Officer Yoon and Detective Hwan turn up at Young-sik's house. They question him about Tae-jung and try to search the place, but Eun-bai fires up and makes it clear that they can't simply barge their way inside. She forces them to leave and Young-sik asks Officer Yoon not to visit again. So Hyun-young returns the misplaced phone to a woman in a brown coat who is standing near a food stall, but almost immediately, Tae-jung rushes in on his bike and steals the phone. At home, he shows Young-sik the phone and explains that it belongs to the victim, a young, male pianist who was murdered. Tae-jung calls the most recently called number on the phone and tells the lady on the other end to give him money in exchange for returning it. The woman tells her boss, who agrees and tells his people to kill the thief after the deal. We then see the woman waiting on the street with a bag of cash. Tae-jung calls her and tells her to give the cash to a deliverman who stops in front of her. After she's done that, he tells her she will find the phone on top of some mailboxes. Once the woman has got the phone, Tae-jung follows her on his bike. Meanwhile, Johan learns that his people agreed to pay the thief in exchange for the phone. This was done without his permission, which ticks him off. As a result, he tells another assassin, this one a Chinese woman, to kill the man in charge. She stabs him through the head. Johan tells her to clean up the mess and then leaves. Tae-jung follows the woman all the way to a warehouse. Over there, he steals one of the workers' uniforms and follows the woman. He sees other workers collecting DNA and other evidence from everyday household materials. He takes a video of it on his phone, but his phone suddenly starts ringing when Young-sik calls him and tells him that the Chinese assassin is trying to kill Hyun-young. With all eyes on him, Tae-jung is forced to fight all the workers off. He then rushes to Hyun-young's salon and fights the Chinese assassin. Tae-jung manages to hold her off long enough until the police sirens are heard and she runs away. Just as Johan is learning about Tae-jung's trip to the warehouse, he gets a visit from Baek Do-kyung and his father. His father, who seems to be a powerful man capable of finding Johan's address, even when he keeps it hidden, tells Johan to clean up the Tae-jung mess by the end of the week. Johan and Do-kyung even end up exchanging words. Young-sik and Tae-jung bring Hyun-young and her daughter to Young-sik's house. Since it's not safe there either, Young-sik asks Eun-bi to let them stay at the apartment she shares with her friend. Eun-bi asks Tae-jung for an explanation and he tells her. As a result, she even shares her phone number with her father, which leaves Young-sik overjoyed. When the two go back home, they see a news report about the murdered pianist. Apparently, the prime suspect in the case committed suicide. Tae-jung goes back to the warehouse, where he sees that all the workers and the woman in the brown coat have been killed. He also finds the severed head of the assassin Johan killed and an envelope addressed to him, with a bundle of cash inside. Suddenly, a projector comes on and tells Tae-jung that Do-kyung is the real killer of his case. It then gives him a hint of where to find Do-kyung by providing part of Do-kyung's Instagram handle. It turns out Johan is the one who sends him So-kyung's details and turns his social media account public to see if Tae-jung will go after him. Through the account, Tae-jung learns that Do-kyung is in Busan and decides to go there. Elsewhere, Tae-jung's friends get a visit from Detective Hwang and Officer Yoon. While the two are leaving, Officer Yoon gets a call from Tae-jung, who tells him that he's looking for the real culprit and will prove his innocence. Detective Hwang grabs the phone and hears an announcement from the Busan train terminal, where Tae-jung currently is. We are then introduced to Yoo Seung-gyu, a Busan gang leader who knows Baek Do-kyung. Do-kyung has invested in Seung-gyu's upcoming club, for which he still needs more money. He introduces Do-kyung to a new drug and then tells him to arrange for a party on a ship that night. Back at the electrical repair shop, Young-sik worries about Tae-jung. Eun-bi suggests they track his phone since it is in Young-sik's name and they realize he is in Busan. Detective Hwang soon has the same idea and locates both of Young-sik's phones in Busan. However, we see that Officer Yoon has received a picture from Tae-jung with a locker number and password on it. Elsewhere, Johan attends a memorial service for his parents. An uncle tells him not to blame himself for their deaths anymore, but once he leaves, Johan smirks. After the ceremony, one of his aunts tells him that they need to sort out the issue with the shares soon. After everyone leaves, Johan's nanny sees him off to lunch, but she doesn't join him, saying she has other plans. Her plans seem to include a Chinese assassin ruthlessly killing a large group of people, Johan's family members who were gathering for dinner. Johan's aunt, now injured, asks the nanny if Johan knows she is her real mother. She also accuses the nanny of manipulating Johan. The nanny describes how Johan only opened his heart to her and not to anyone else in the family. So much so that he poured mercury into her eyes and blinded her, so that she would never be able to leave him. The nanny then kills the aunt by stabbing her. As Do-kyung and Yoo Seung-gyu are entering a party boat, the latter sees Tae-jung waiting outside. Tae-jung sneaks onto the boat and confronts Do-kyung, putting his phone on to record a confession. However, the guards turn up very quickly and Seung-gyu knocks Tae-jung out. Back home, The nanny tells Johan that a fire broke out in the house where his family was dining and killed everyone. He then gets a call from Kyung, who says he's captured Taejung and asks for a refund. Johan reluctantly agrees. While Taejung is tied up and locked in a room, Young-sik arrives with his daughter and Detective Hwang arrives with the cops. Seung-yu is forced to let the cops search the place. Meanwhile, Kyung, high on drugs now, decides to kill Taejung himself. He goes over to the boat where he had kept him only to find the room empty. Young-sik, who was searching the boats, found Taejung and untied him. They're running away when Officer Yoon and Detective Hwang catch them. But Eunbai knocks the detective out, which allows the three of them to escape. They take refuge at Eunbai's friend's house. The next day, Officer Yoon goes to the locker that Taejung had texted him about and finds documents with information about Kyung. Elsewhere, Seung-yu sends his people to look for them. Kyung then calls Johan and asks him if he arranged for Taejung to be let out. Johan realizes that the game isn't over yet. Kyung uploads his location on social media, telling Taejung to come, while Taejung makes a makeshift gun from the tools he finds. Johan meets Kyung's parents at a restaurant. He makes sweet small talk with Kyung's mother and then proposes a new security detail to Assemblyman Beck, since Taejung is after Kyung. Assemblyman Beck laughs it off and says he can handle it himself. He talks down to Johan, basically calling him a servant. That night, Johan receives the congressman's response as a number of masked men storm his house. However, he grabs a sword from one of his sculptures and single-handedly takes them all down. At Eunbai's friend's house, Young-sik tells Taejung about his past. He used to be an alcoholic. One night, while fighting with his wife, he threw a cigarette on the floor and left the house. The embers must have caught on something because when he came back, the house was burning and he couldn't find the courage to go inside and save his wife. The police thought he lit it on purpose and that's why he was arrested. Meanwhile, Johan watches camera footage of Young-sik and Eunbai and wonders why they are helping Taejung. Eunbai then heads out to a shop to buy cigarettes but comes across Detective Hwang in the shop. She quickly leaves, but the detective soon recognizes her and sounds the alarm. The detective and Officer Yoon follow Eunbai's bike, but she manages to lose them and reach the house in time. By the time the officers get there, they see Eunbai and Young-sik driving to the mechanic to get their car. The two behave as if nothing is wrong and claim to have no idea where Taejung is. In reality, Taejung escaped on his bike. Sometime later, Johan meets Eunbai and Young-sik in person and asks them if Taejung paid them to help him. They say he didn't, and when Johan continues to probe, even mentioning Eunbai's mother, she gets angry and tries to punch him. As a result of the ensuing scuffle, Johan injures both Eunbai and Young-sik. As for Taejung, he sees Kyung's social media post and arrives at the mentioned location where Kyung, Seung-yu and his goons are waiting for him. When Kyung refuses to confess, Taejung brings out his nail gun. He takes down most of Seung-yu's people and then fights Seung-yu himself, grabbing his gun in the process. He then goes after Kyung, who sees him coming and gets into his car. A chase ensues with Taejung chasing Kyung's yellow car and being chased by Seung-yu and his men. This brings us back to the very first scene from episode 1. After a long chase, Taejung kills Seung-yu and takes over his van. He uses it to push Kyung's car ahead, which ends up ramming into an oncoming truck. Taejung tries to get a confession from a bleeding Kyung, but he refuses and soon dies. That's when Johan calls Kyung's phone and Taejung picks up. He finally realizes who Johan is. Johan offers him money, promising to restore his life to normal. He even asks Taejung to work with him. But Taejung is set on his target and assures Johan that he will take him down. The scene then shifts to a fancy apartment, where Johan kills Assemblyman Beck and the young woman he was with. While the Assemblyman is dying, Johan confesses that he killed his parents when he was 16 years old because they were going to donate all their assets to a temple. He stabbed them more than 100 times and then framed a recently escaped murderer for the crime. That's how he realized he could make it a business. He later visits Young-sik's shop and looks around. When he finds a picture of Young-sik and Eunbai, he burns it. The episodes are still being released, and thank you for your time and accompanying us through the whole drama. For you not to miss out the other episodes, please like, share, comment, subscribe and turn on notification bell for dramas like this. See you in the next one. Bye.